Lord. Good morning to all of you. So let's all stand please. Tumayo po tayong lahat. Let's pray to God that He will teach us this morning. So we want to be able to go away from this place. Yung aalis po tayo ngayong umaga sa church, pagkatapos po na ating service, na meron po tayong tinanggap na bagay mula sa ating Panginoon. Because yun po ang gustong gawin ng Panginoon for us is that we receive His blessings. So as we take a few moments of silent prayer, so tayo po ay manalangin before our message. Let's pray. Amen. So if you have a Bible with you, please turn to Galatians chapter 4. Galatians chapter 4 in the New Testament, and we shall be reading verse 21 to 31 of Galatians chapter 4. So basahin po natin ang salitan. Babasahin ko po sa verse 21. You read in verse 22 till we get to verse 31, which we shall read all together. So we will be reading from the English using the King James Bible. Okay? Galatians chapter 4, verse 21 to 31. Tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, do ye not hear the law? But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was by promise. For this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answereth to Jerusalem, which now is and is in bondage with her children. For it is written, Rejoice, thou barren that bearest not. Break forth and cry, thou that travailest not. For the desolate hath many more children than she which hath an husband. Verse 29, But as then he that was born after the flesh persecuted him that was born after the Spirit, even so it is now. Verse 31, altogether please. So then, brethren, we are not children of the bondwoman, but of the free. You may take your seats. So binasa po natin ito pong sulat ni Apostol Pablo sa mga mananampalataya sa Galatia. At sila po ay merong tendency na sila po ay bumalik sa pagkakasako po nila sa kautusan. So they want to be under the law. So iniisip po nila na sila po ay magiging matuwid hindi lamang kay Kristo. So kulang si Kristo, dapat gagawin din natin yung kautusan. So magpapasakop tayo sa kautusan. It's not just the 10 Commandments. Okay, ang law po, ang kautusan, involves many things. Yung moral law, yung ceremonial law, yung sacrifices, lahat po ng mga tradisyon na ginagawa ng Jerusalem na nasa Old Testament. Okay, so that's the law. At naniniwala po sila, may mga nagtuturo po sa kanila, katulad po ngayon, may mga nagtuturo po ngayon na ang tao ay hindi maaring maging matuwid sa harapan ng Diyos kung hindi niya tutuparin ang law of Moses o yung kautusan. Ang problema po sa ganung pananaw is that God demands absolute perfection. Okay? Kung maliligtas ka, kung tatanggapin ka ng Diyos sa pagsunod mo sa kautusan, then siguraduhin mo, gagawin mo lahat. It has to be kept perfectly. And that's the problem, mga minamahal. No one can keep it perfectly. Walang sino man po ang makakasunod, walang sino man po ang makakatupad ng buong kautusan. Because the Bible says, if you keep the whole law and offend in one point, you are guilty of all. So yun po ang kautusan. At sinasabi po ni Paul, so gusto nyo magpasakop sa kautusan? Gusto nyo bumalik dun sa kautusan? Pakinggan nyo kung anong sinasabi ng law. Listen to what the law says. Okay, sa verse 21. Tell me ye that desire to be under the law, do ye not hear the law? And the law is, sinasabi po rito, concerning Abraham. So ang law po sa mga Hudyo is the first 5 books of Moses. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Yung po tinatawag natin Pentateuch. Those are the law. Pero hindi lang pala kautusan ang meron dyan sa Pentateuch o doon sa mga sinulat ni Moses. Meron ding kwento. So ngayon pong buwan ay Family Day. Family Month. May Family Day tayo. August 26. At nung nakaraang linggo, we preach about Cain and Abel. The first brothers, ang unang magkapatid. At yung kanila pong kwento ay natapos sa violence, and death. Isipin niyo po, magkapatid. One murdered the other. They were the first brothers. This morning, titingnan po natin, si Ishmael at si Isaac. They are half-brothers. Okay, these are the 2 sons of Abraham. So yung patungkol po rito, sa kay Abraham, siya sabi ito, he had Okay, sana kung naiintindihan natin, kaya lang hindi natin maintindihan. Okay. So, verse 21 says, Abraham has 2 sons. Okay? Parehong panganay. Paano yun? Because the one was by a bondwoman and the other by a free woman. That's a familiar story, I think. Hindi ba? Hindi na tayo nagugulat sa ganyan na 2 anak mo, o 2. O mahigit pa. Puro panganay. Both eldest. That's the stuff, that makes soap opera and, sad to say, real life. So, sino po ang dalawang ito? Nabanggit ko po, si Ishmael, who is the first son, the son of Abraham, sa pamamagitan ni Hagar, who is the bondwoman, and Isaac, okay, the chosen one. Yung pong pinili ng Diyos na tagapagmana, the promised heir, the son of the free woman, the son of Sarah. So tingnan po natin yung facts. Okay? Tingnan po natin yung literal story. Kasi makabasa natin mamaya, meron po ngayang allegory. There's meaning, hidden or under this story na binigay po ng Biblia. Now ito po yung nagsimula sa book of Genesis chapter 12. Na kung saan ito pong si Abraham ay tinawag ng Diyos na lumabas from the Ur of the Chaldees at pumunta po sa promised land, which is to be Canaan. Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land which I will shew thee. Verse 2, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So ito po ang promise ng Panginoon kay Abraham. So sabi ng Panginoon, lumabas ka sa bansa mo, doon sa lugar na sinasabi ko sa iyo na magtungo ka. At ang pangako po ng Panginoon, His covenant with Abraham is this: I'll make thee a great nation. So gagawin daw siyang isang bago at dakilang bayan at bansa. And so, based on that promise, sumunod po si Abraham. Okay? Now, kung pinramis siya ng Panginoon na magiging ama ng maraming mga bansa, so kailangan magkaroon siya ng anak. And in Genesis chapter 15, okay, so nung sumunod si Abraham, so nag-iisip siya ngayon, so sino magiging tagapagmana ko? I mean, what's the use? Di ba? Ano ang silbi nung ibigay mo sa akin lahat ito? Kung pagkatapos ko, wala na ako, kanino mapupunta lahat ng ito? So, and sa chapter 15, let's read it, verse 1 to 7. After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abraham in a vision, saying, fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is Eliezer of Damascus. And Abraham said, behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, this shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. And he brought him forth abroad, and said, look now toward the heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be. And in verse 6, and he believed God, and he believed in the Lord, and counted it to him for righteousness. So isipin niyo po, tama nga naman. So walang anak si Abraham. At ayon po sa custom po nila, ang magiging tagapagmana ni Abraham, yung kanyang chief steward, na ang pangalan ay si Eleazar. Kung wala siyang magiging anak. So yung kanyang chief servant, sabi ng Panginoon, hindi yon ang gusto ko. Okay? I am going to give you a son from thine own loins. So ito yung manggagaling sa iyo. So, malinaw yung promise ng Panginoon. bibigay ko sa iyo ang lupang ito, bibigyan kita ng anak. Okay? Pero hindi ho kaagad-agad nangyari po yan. So dumating po, ito pong ilang taon. About 15 years later. Okay? Let's go to chapter 16 of Genesis. Wala pa rin. Wala pa rin katuparan yung sinabi ng Panginoon sa kanila. And how old was Abraham at this time? He was, Sarah, yung asawa po ni Abraham, was 75 years old. And barren. Abraham was 85 years old. So mahirap na. Okay? The clock is winding down. So ano mangyayari ngayon? And so naisip ni Sarah, and of course kinonbinsi niya si Abraham, so gato na lang ang gawin natin. Okay? So chapter 16, let's read the words itself. Verse 1. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold now, the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened unto the voice of Sarai. Verse 3, And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abraham had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband to be his wife. Verse 4, And he went into Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. Okay, so ano ho yung binasa natin dito? Okay? So binigay po ni Sarah yung kanya pong alalay, kanyang handmaid, si Hagar, at say, hindi ako pwede. Okay? And so malapit ka ng, you're very old now. So, pero it's still possible. So why don't you take my handmaid and bear me some children through her? Okay, so hindi tayo komportable doon, di ba? But you know what? That was a illegal custom during those days. That was accepted. Okay? You bear children, okay, through somebody else. So ginagawa po yan ng marami. Yan po ay legal. Pero hindi ho lahat ng legal ay tama. Hindi ho lahat ng legal ay gusto ng Panginoon. So marami po mga bagay ang naging legal at magiging legal pa di ba, sa mundong ito at sa bansang ito. Okay. But that doesn't make it right. Okay? So this was a legal custom. Accepted. Ginagawa ng marami. Pero yun ba ang pinangako ng Panginoon kay Abraham? Hindi po. And so, nangyari po dito, mga minamahal, is that when Hagar conceived, sabi po sa verse 4, when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. Okay, so medyo wag kayong malito rito, Yung mistress po rito, si Sarah. Okay? So, hindi ho baliktad. So, ibig sabihin, yung asawa ni Abraham, nung si Hagar po, ay nagdalang tao, so she was despised. So, it means, naging mababa yung tingin niya sa kanyang, kay Sarah, itong si Hagar. Okay? So, bumaba yung value nitong kanyang, tutuusin yung kanyang amo. And so, ano sabi po ni Sarah? Okay, sa verse number 5, And Sarai said unto Abraham, My wrong be upon thee. Okay? I have given my maid unto thy bosom, and when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes, and the Lord judged between me and thee. So what he's saying here, Abraham, kasalanan mo to. Siguro, ikaw may sabi, di ba? So, he followed the wrong decision or suggestion of his wife. So, ibig sabihin po nun, kahit gusto ni Abraham, okay, at sabi ng asawa niya, kasalanan pa rin ni Abraham. Okay? Kasi hindi naman siya mapipilit kung ayaw niya. And so, sabi ni Sarah, kasalanan mo yan. My wrong, be upon thee. And so, anong nangyari po dito, sabi po ni Abraham, sige, bahala ka na kung anong gusto mong gawin. Deal with her. Whatever you want. And so, Sarai deal with Hagar very harshly. Okay? So, napansin ni Hagar na hindi maganda yung trato sa kanya ni Sarah. And so, ang nangyari po, lumayas itong si Hagar. So, she ran away. Pero ang sabi ng Panginoon, kinausap ng Panginoon si Hagar, go back to your mistress. Return to Sarah. I will make thee a great nation. Pansinin niyo po ang sabi ng Panginoon dito, sa verse 9. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, return unto thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, which means the Lord heard, because the Lord had heard the affliction. Verse 12, he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. So magkakaroon ka ng anak, and he will be the father of a nation, in fact, more than one nation. And, the Lord foretells this about Ishmael. Pakinggan niyo mabuti kung anong sabi ng Panginoon. Kung ano magiging klaseng tao po itong si Ishmael. A wild man. That means, he will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. So, siya ay laging makikipag-away. Okay? Always fighting. Contending. And so, bumalik po si Hagar, dahil sabi ng Panginoon, bumalik siya. And so, ang kwento po, is that nanganak po siya. Yun nga po, pinanganak niya po itong si Ishmael. And so, about, I'm not sure about this figure that I have, but about 14 years later, okay, ano po ang nangyari? So, ilang taon na dun si Abraham? About 99 years old. Natupad yung promise ng Panginoon na parang imposible na for both Sarai and Abraham, to have children. Yet at 99 years old, 14 years later, Isaac was born. So hindi na sila makapaniwala. They can't believe it anymore. Natawa nga itong si Sarah. Kaya nga ang naging pangalan ng kanyang anak, Isaac. Ibig sabihin ng Isaac, of course it means joy, happiness. But it has the meaning of laughter. So, sobrang saya. Okay. Tumatawa. And so the Lord fulfilled His promise to Abraham, and Sarah. They were given this son. Ito pong si Isaac. And about 2 or 3 years later, ito pong si Isaac was weaned. Ibig sabihin, pag weaned na po, hindi na po siya sumususo. Okay, stop na siya. About 2 or 3 years old. And in chapter 21, so tinitrace po natin yung kwento, verse by verse. Genesis chapter 21, verse 5. Okay, basahin po natin. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. And Sarah said, God had made me to laugh, so that all that will hear will laugh with me. And she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah would given children suck, for I have borne him a son in his old age. Verse 8, and the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. Verse 9, and Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking. So nagkaroon po sila ng celebration, siguro parang dedication po ito ni Isaac. It's about 2 or 3 years old. At napansin ni Sarah na itong si Ishmael, which was about mga 13 or 14 years old, he was, mocking itong si Isaac. He was, ito ba magiging tagpagmana ng tatay ko? Okay. Kaya pala Isaac ang pangalan mo, nakakatawa ka. Okay. So he was harassing him, he was bullying him, he was mocking him, he was terrorizing him. So in other words, lumabas talaga yung sinabi ng Panginoon about Ishmael, that he will be against every man, particularly itong kay Isaac. Okay? Because alam ni Ishmael, hindi siya maging tagapagmana, itong si Isaac. At nung nakita niya, ito lang ba? Okay? That's it? Wow. Okay? So, tinatawanan niya itong si Isaac. So, nung nakita ni Sarah, that her son was despised, in the same way, that Hagar despised her, nung hindi siya magkaanak, and now Ishmael was mocking and despising, mababa ang tingin niya dito kay Isaac. So, sabi niya kay Abraham, cast out this bondwoman. Paalisin mo na. Paalisin mo na itong woman na ito. Hindi pwede magsama yung anak ko at saka yung anak niya. And you know what? Okay? Although that was the suggestion of Sarah, si Isaac po, inalam niya muna kung anong gusto ng Panginoon. At anong sabi ng Panginoon kay Abraham? Okay, sabi sa verse 10, wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even Isaac. And the thing was grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman, in all that Sarah had said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called. So ang sabi ng Panginoon sa kanya, gawin mo yung sinasabi ni Sarah sa iyo. Okay, so that's good. Okay? Makinig ka sa asawa mo, sabi ng Panginoon. Sige. So sumunod siya sa Panginoon. Hindi katulad ng dati, sinunod niya yung asawa niya, pero hindi muna siya nanalangin o nagtanong sa Panginoon kung dapat niya bang gawin yung bagay na yun. And so, he cast out Hagar and Ishmael from the household. Now, ang tanong po, so nakita natin kung paano nangyari yon, na nagkaroon ng 2 anak na panganay, ito si Abraham. Okay? Yung sitwasyon po, naiintindihan natin. Okay? So ang tanong po natin, why did God allow this problem? Because this is a problem. Okay? So to any family, na meron pong ganitong klaseng conflict, okay? Why did God allow this problem to happen sa isang mananampalataya? Even to Abraham, to whom He has promised these things. So titingnan po natin ngayon the spiritual meaning behind this story. Okay? Now, alam niyo po the Bible is honest. Okay? It's very honest. Hindi ho tinatago ng Biblia ang mga kahinaan at pagkakamali ng mga tao na sumasampalataya sa Panginoon. Hey, you saw David, di ba? A man after God's own heart. At yung mga pagkakamali at kahinaan po niya. Same thing with Abraham. So hindi ho, kung ito po i-edit po natin, napakanipis ng Bible. Kasi ang mahalaman lang natin dito yung mga magagandang bagay na ginawa ng mga tao ng Diyos, pero napaka-honest, napakatapat po sa atin ng Biblia. These people are not perfect. And so, why did God allow this to happen? Ito po, mga minamahal, so that tayo po ngayon, maintindihan po natin, ano ba yung magiging resulta ng ganito pong klaseng arrangement? What will be the consequences? What problems will come out of this arrangement in which itong pinasok ni Abraham? Okay? Now, God did not approve of it. Okay? But He allowed it. Pinahintulutan niya mangyari at pinapakita niya sa atin yung resulta of having more than one wife or more than one spouse at the same time. There's no convenience or even benefits that anyone could wish that he could get from this kind of arrangement. And so hindi ho ito kalooban ng Diyos, hindi ho ito pinigilan ng Diyos, para makita po natin yung mangyayari pag ito po ay ginawa din ng iba. Dalawang bagay po masasabi natin regarding the act of Abraham in taking Hagar. Number one, he did not follow God's plan or God's design. And what is God's design? God's design in creation is one man, one woman. When God created man, He made male and female. So makita po natin the exclusiveness of marriage. At bagamat sinasabi po natin that divorce may be legal or accepted, annulment, separation, and things like that, the Lord allows it, but it's not the ideal. The ideal that the Lord gave to us, yung ideal design is one man, one woman, till death do us part. That was God's plan. That was God's design. But Abraham did not follow that design, that plan. At sabihin ko po sa inyo, anything that you build, if you don't follow the design, the plan, the pattern, it's going to create some problems. Kasi hindi tayo sumusunod dun sa plano ng Diyos for the family and for marriage. Secondly, makita po natin, he doubted God's promise. Ano bang promise sa kanya ng Panginoon? I'm going to give you an heir from your own loins. At parang nag-isip niya, parang imposible na. Okay? Kasi parang hindi ko na kaya I'm already 85. And that is, mga minamahal, the problem. Okay? Nagtitiwala pa rin siya sa kanyang kakayanan. Whereas ito pong promise ng Panginoon, it is supernatural. It is something na Diyos lamang ang makakagawa po nito. There's no mistake about it. Isaac was conceived not by the will of man, not by the will of the flesh, but by the will of God. Na ipanganak po itong si Isaac. And so while it seems impossible, with God, nothing shall be impossible. If it was God's will for him to have a son, it's going to happen. Only that he has to follow God's way. So mahalaga po na gawin natin yung kalooban ng Diyos sa pamamagitan ng paraan ng Diyos. Kasi kung nais po nating makamit yung kalooban ng Diyos, pero ayaw natin gamitin yung paraan na binigay sa atin ng Diyos, hindi rin tayo magiging masaya. Hindi rin tayo magiging tagumpay. And what is the result of this Abraham not following God's design and not believing God's promise? Conflict in the family. There is stress, among members of his family. And particularly, sino ba ang magiging tagapagmana? Ito bang Ishmael o ito bang si Isaac? And although it was legal, okay, ito pong sabihin ko po sa inyo, nobody wants to share. At alam niyo po, dapat lang. Okay? Nobody wants to share the man. Nobody wants to share the husband. Hindi ho kalooban ng Diyos that you share your partner with others. By nature, it's not the way the Lord made us. Okay? At ang problema po rito, mga minamahal, either legal wife or mistress, both want to have it all. Gusto mapunta sa kanya, hindi lang yung asawa, lahat. Walang maiiwan sa'yo, lahat sa akin yan. And that's reality, mga minamahal. That's true. That's why the Lord said, okay, separate. Okay? Cast out this bondwoman, because this shall not be your heir. One has to be cast out. At alam niyo po, mga minamahal, the conflict continues long after we are gone. Kung sabihin natin tayo po, ma-involve sa ito pong klaseng sitwasyon sa pamilya po natin, the conflict will continue. Andiyan yung pag-aaway. Di ba? Wala na yung mga magulang, andiyan pa rin. Di ba? Sino ba ang may karapatan? And the conflict goes on even among the descendants of Ishmael and Isaac. Not only between them, but this mistake na ginawa po ni Abraham has brought so much problem, not just in his own family, but even to our world today. Because at this very moment, okay, the descendants of Ishmael, who are mostly Arabs, hate the descendants of Isaac, who is the nation of Israel. Sabi ng mga Arabs sa Israel, umalis kayo dyan. Amin yan eh. Okay? Saan kami titira? That's not our problem. Okay? Samantalang yung Palestine, it's not so many people. They could live among all these nations. Pwede. At ibigay na nila yung buong lupain sa Israel na binigay ng Diyos sa kanila through Abraham. Pero sabi ng mga Arabs, no. Okay? Hindi sa inyo yan. Amin yan eh. We have the right to those lands. And so makikita po natin the descendants of Ishmael are still against. Okay? At kung mawala man ng Israel, and I'm saying this hypothetically, pag mawala na po ang lahat ng kaaway nila, sila mag-aaway sa sarili nila. Which we see even today. And so, totoo ba ang sinabi ng Panginoon Diyos that He will be a wild man and His hand will be against every man? Yes. And all because Abraham made this decision, okay, that did not follow God's plan and did not believe God's promise. Alam niyo po, yung mga nakikita natin ngayong bombahan sa Cagayan de Oro, Cotabato, I don't know if this is connected to the terrorism that the world is seeing right now. Okay? Pero hindi ho tayo magtataka, if this was initiated by the Arab Islamists who wants na ang purpose po nila is to drive Israel from Palestine. Okay? At ano po ba ang promise ng Panginoon kay Abraham? I will bless thee, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee. Now we say that it's because they hate America. Why do they hate the United States? Ang Amerika po, maraming pong pangit na ginagawa ang Amerika. But there's only one thing, one reason why God, is still keeping America in His blessings. And it is this: they support Israel. Okay? They support Israel. They will not let anything happen to Israel habang andyan po ang United States. So that is why, the terrorists, is against the United States. Okay? And guess what? Okay? I'm going off topic here, Please bear with me. Pero kung isipin niyo po, saang lugar po, ang pinakamaraming Hudyo outside of Israel? America, yes, but particularly, they are concentrated in New York City. Which explains why New York City was a target during 9/11. And so, this book is true. Pinapakita po sa atin ang aklat na ito ang resulta ng mga ginawa ng mga tao noong unang panahon na hanggang ngayon po, this conflict goes on and on. So ano po ang sinasabi po natin? Don't mix Isaac with Ishmael. Okay? Wala naman tayo masyadong magagawa rito, pero nakikita po natin sa lipunan po natin, trying to please both sides. Okay? Sige, kabati natin ito, pero, tulungan din natin ito. You know what? You can't mix, Ishmael and Isaac. You can't please both. Kung nais po nating maging buo ang pagpapala ng Diyos sa atin, then we have to follow God's plan for this world. And God's blessing, will be through His people, through God's people. Now, who are God's people? The Jews, yes, they are still God's people. But God's people is also tayo po mga manampalataya. At dito po papasok yung sinasabi po ni Apostle Paul sa Galatians chapter 4, yung binasa po natin. The doctrinal. So nakita natin yung literal, and now we have seen the spiritual meaning. But there's a doctrinal teaching which is based on an allegory. O yung masahe po nating parang talinhaga po, Basahin po natin muli, For it is written that Abraham, verse 22, had two sons, the one by a bondwoman, the other by a free woman. But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was by promise. Which things are an allegory? For these are two covenants, the one from Mount Sinai, which is gendered to bondage, which is Agar. For this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answer to Jerusalem, which is now and is in the bondage with her children. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is mother of all. Okay? So, meron pong doktrina, meron pong aral na gustong ipakita po si Pablo through this story of Abraham and his sons. It's an allegory. Now, hindi ho ganun, ang normal na pagkaka-interpret po natin sa Bible, because you cannot just make the Bible say whatever you want. Okay? So, ito pong allegory na ito is based on a true story. Okay? Kasi ang allegory po, kahit totoo ba yan, hindi natin alam kasi hindi tayo sigurado. Pero alam natin na totoo nangyari ito. Pero meron pong meaning. Ito pong kwentong ito pong pangyayaring ito. That, okay, this story of Abraham's two sons illustrates the doctrine of salvation by faith versus or against being saved by works or by the law. So ito pong dalawang babaeng ito, nanay ni Ishmael at ni Isaac, ito pong si Sarah at si Hagar, represents two conflicting principles. Hagar represents works by the law. Okay? Works by the law, which is human effort. At yun ang gustong gawin ng mga Galatians. They want to be righteous, they want to be saved by the works of the law. At malinaw po, nobody can be saved by works of the law. And so sinasabi niya po rito, this represents bondage. Okay? The bondwoman. While Sarah represents faith, salvation by faith through grace, which is not human works, but it is God's work. Ang kaligtasan po, mga minamahal, ay 100% the work of God. Wala ho tayong contribution sa kaligtasan po natin. Wala ho tayong naiambag sa Panginoon. Wala hong dahilan na nakita ang Diyos sa atin para makitang tayo po'y karapat-dapat na Kanya po ay iligtas. It is by faith through grace. It is the gift of God. Now, has it always been that way? Yes. Sa Old Testament po, makikita po natin, kay Noah pa lang, si Noah, sabi po, and Noah found grace in the sight of the Lord. Sa pamamagitan po ng biyaya ng Diyos, ito pong si Noah ay iniligtas ng Panginoon Diyos. How about ito pong si Abraham? So makikita po natin that Abraham believed God and it was counted unto him for righteousness. Nung sumampalataya po itong si Abraham kay Yahweh, dahil sa kanyang mga pangako, at sinasabi po rito, siya po ay ginawang matuwid. He was declared righteous. He was just in the sight of God because he believed. Believe what? Believe the promise. Believe the covenant. Sumampalataya po, nagtiwala po itong si Abraham dun sa tipan nila ni Yahweh. And so, ang paraan po ng kaligtasan, mga minamahal, kahit sa matandang tipan, even in the Old Testament, has always been by grace and by faith in God's promise, in God's covenant. Now, pumasok po ang law of Moses. Okay? And the law of Moses, the Ten Commandments, and the Torah and all these other regulations was meant to be a standard of this covenant. So ito yung part natin. Pero ito po maganda sa covenant ng Diyos. Okay? Kung hindi natin gawin yung part natin, ang Diyos gagawin pa rin yung part niya. That's His grace. Pero we have now the law of Moses given. At okay po, mga minamahal, people in the Old Testament, nakita nila yung consequences pag hindi sila sumunod sa kautusan ng Panginoon Diyos, which is a reflection of His will for them. At ang kautusan po, hindi natin inaalis. Ang kautusan po ay kapahayagan ng kalooban ng Diyos para sa atin, pero hindi ho paraan ng kaligtasan. So, anong nangyari po, mga minamahal, in between the Old and New Testament. Okay, so, sa gitna po, we have 400 years. Yung isang page po ngayon, that's 400 years of silent history. Pagbukas po natin sa New Testament, yung mga Hudyo na nakilala natin sa Old Testament, ibang-iba sa mga Hudyo sa New Testament. A lot of things happened during that 400 years. Okay? Marami po nagbago. Pero ito po ang pinaka significant na pagbabago po. Okay? Righteousness is no longer by faith in the covenant. Kundi ang mga Hudyo po, naisip nila na tayo magiging matuwid sa harapan ng Diyos if we keep the law. If we keep the commandments. So in other words, obedience to the law. At dito po nanggaling yung Judaism. Okay? Obedience to the law becomes the basis of righteousness, grounds for hope, justification, righteousness, life, and even resurrection. Okay? So yung sumusunod sa kautusan, yun ang maliligtas. Yun na po ang naging po nila, naging paniniwala po nila. It's no longer having faith in the covenant that God gave to them. But, sumunod tayo sa Panginoon, you'll be saved. Okay po yun. We like that. Okay? Kasi may credit sa atin po yun. But ang problema po ng mga minamahal, okay, kung maliligtas pa sila, kung ang kaligtasan po nila ay sa pamamagitan ng kautusan, bakit pa kailangan dumating si Jesus? What's the use of the Messiah? Okay? Ba't pa natin kailangan na ipanganak si Jesus para maging tagapagligtas natin? Kaya na pala natin. Natuparin ang kautusan para maligtas tayo. So in other words, this is like Ishmael saying, hindi na kailangan yan. Andito na ako eh. Okay? You don't need an heir anymore. So kaya nga po, yung mga Judaism mocks Christianity. Because sinasabi nila, paano maliligtas ang tao? By faith, through grace. Yun lang. That's it. Nakakatawa naman kayo. Ibig sabihin, wala kayong gagawin para kayo maligtas. And so, we hear the ridicule of people. Okay, they mock us. And sort of, this is what Paul is saying between Hagar and Sarah. Hindi ho pwedeng magsama. Kung maliligtas ka sa pamamagitan ng gawa, okay, subukan mo. Make sure you're perfect. If you're going to be saved by faith, through grace, sa pamamagitan ng biyaya, then you don't have to do anything. You know why? You know why? Because we can't boast. Ephesians 2:8-9 says, "For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast." Kung ang kaligtasan po natin ay sa pamamagitan ng paggawa po natin ng kabutihan at pagsunod po natin sa kautusan, di para tayong si Ishmael, nagyayabang tayo sa sarili natin. Karapat-dapat ako. Okay? Dahil ako nauna sa iyo. Ako ang dapat maging tagapagmana. Pero malinaw sabi ng Panginoon, hindi magmamana ng kaharian ng Diyos ang hindi nagtitiwala sa Kanya. In fact, para makapasok ka sa kaharian ng Diyos, kailangan maging katulad ka ng isang maliit na bata. Di ba? Sabi ng Panginoon, you have to be like a little child. Because a little child, all that he knows to do is absolute and total dependence. Yung magtiwala lamang. And so, mga minamahal, itinataguyod po natin, itinataas po natin ang doktrina, ang aral ng kaligtasan na ito po ay sa pamamagitan lamang ng pananampalataya sa biyaya ng Diyos. Hindi sa pamamagitan ng gawa, hindi sa pamamagitan ng pagiging reliyoso, hindi sa pamamagitan ng pag-anib sa isang iglesia. Mga minamahal, ito po ay biyaya, kaloob ng Diyos na buhay na walang hanggan. And so mga minamahal, let's not go back to bondage. This is what he's saying to the Galatians. Huwag na kayong bumalik do sa dating pag-asa ninyo na, hindi ba, magsikap kayo para kayong maligtas. Hindi po, magtiwala tayo sa Diyos na nagbigay po sa atin ng Kanyang anak at ng Kanyang banal na Espiritu na namumuhay po sa atin upang tayo po yung maging matuwid sa harapan ng Panginoon Diyos. And so mga minamahal, the conflict rages on. Ito po in my opinion, in the last days, it's the showdown between Islam and Christianity. Okay, so nakikita na po natin, hindi po ba, that Islam, and I say this with grief in my heart, okay, that Islam will eventually overcome, okay, in the last days, before Jesus Christ returns. Kasi yun naman pag-asa natin ng ating Panginoong Yesus. Hindi ho natin magagawa yung kaharian ng Diyos kung hindi ho babalik si Kristo Jesus. So yun po inaantay po natin. But you know what? Like of old, people now are converted either by force or by convenience or intimidation. Ilan po yung, meron ba tayong kakilala na nagpa-convert sa Islam dahil sa employment? That happens. Okay? Do they believe it? Maybe not. But since they want to get a good position, then they probably do it. Out of force, out of convenience. Marriage. Okay? Ilan po ang nagpa-convert sa Islam dahil dalawa na yung asawa niya? Para masabi lang na, okay na kasi, sa religion ko ngayon, pwede, kahit 3 pa nga, 4, pwede. It's conversion by convenience. Nakikita po natin, lumalaganap ang Islam by immigration, okay? At since dahil, 2 asawa nila o higit pa, and syempre maraming anak yun. And so, all I'm saying is that probably in the last days, the showdown will be by Christianity, which will become an insignificant minority, and Islam. At even sa book of Revelation, nakikita po natin that those who will be beheaded for the testimony of Jesus Christ, yung po mga mananampalataya. Sino ba namumugot na ulo ngayon? Di ba sila lang? And so, ang sinasabi ko po sa inyo, mga minamahal, stand fast, okay, in this faith, in this doctrine. Kahit sabihin po natin, kakaunti na lang kayo, mauubos din kayo. I don't care. When Jesus Christ returns, okay, when the promise na siyang magmamana po ng lahat ng lupa, ang ating Panginoong Yesus, then makikita po natin ang tunay na kalooban at kagustuhan ng Diyos. Pero para sa iyo at para sa akin, let's follow God's plan. Okay? For your family. God has a blueprint for us. And if we want blessings in this life, let's follow it. And let's always trust and believe in God's promises. At ang mga bagay na ito, mga minamahal, ay mapa sa atin kung tayo po ay sumasampalataya sa ating Panginoong Yesus. Na siya po ang ating katuwaan at kasiyahan. He is our joy. And He will give us that joy, not only for your life, but also for your family. That's all I have to say. So tayo po ay manalangin. Maraming po salamat sa iyo, Panginoon Diyos. Panginoon, bigyan mo kami ng lakas ng loob po, Panginoon, to decide, to do what is right, upang gawin po yung tama, Panginoon. At huwag po magpadala by intimidation, by coercion. Even the situation might be stressful for us. Alam po namin, Panginoon, ang tama ay tama pa rin sa iyo pong harapan. And help us, Lord, to do this. Help us, Lord, to learn from Abraham's error, na ginawa niya po ang bagay na hindi po ayon sa iyong kalooban at kaparaanan. Maraming pong salamat sa iyo. Pinagkakatiwala po namin sa iyo ang lahat ng aming pong magiging desisyon mula ngayon at sa mga susunod na araw. Ito pong aming samot dalangin sa pangalan ni Jesus.